Right. In today's video, we are going to perform a basic setup of Pacemaker managed Db2 header and with a Quorum. So in old days, prior to Db2 12.1, it is quite common we use TSAM. So nowadays, Pacemaker becomes the cluster software to managing header. So HADR. So in this demo, we're going to establish a two-node header and with a quorum. So with Pacemaker manage the header, so certain failover will be automatically managed by the Pacemaker. So that is the advantage because we don't need like human intervention. For example, if one server needs a reboot after patching, and so the cluster software will managing those things. All right, so let's take a look at the demo system. So for the demo system, we have two database server. I call it node 1 and node 2. And the host name is R9 and S9. It's in this order. It is Red Hat version 9.5. The IP address is 200, 201, 202. This is the Quorum device. The database version is going to 12.1, and the database instance is the Db2 instance 1, and the database name we're going to create is called sample. For the Quorum device, we use the same Red Hat, but it doesn't matter. You can use a different one. And so also for this device is for the resources we don't have too much servers, so I'm going to reuse this one as a NFS server as well. So we can have a shared location. So these two servers can share files. Okay. All right. So let's see the basically task we're going to perform. Okay. So for the part one, it is going to install software. Because install software, it's very straightforward. We've done many times. I'm gonna do as quick as possible. And so like we're gonna stage, untap, pre-check, etc. After that, we're gonna run a couple of commands to install the Db2 binaries or Db2 software. We're also gonna install the Pacemaker software. This is on the database server. On the Quorum server, we're going to install so-called QNetD. It is called CoreSync QNetD. However, you can either just install these two RPM, or we just for simplicity, we can just install the whole thing. It's just a software, some binaries. Okay, so this is the software installation. After that, we're going to create the instance on the database server. And after that, we're going to create a database and prepare database for the header database. Okay, so I'm going to start part one first. So let me log on these three servers. So let's log on to the first one. So I'm going to log on to the first one. That is my first server called R9. Then I'm going to log on to the second one. This is the S9. So this server, so the third one, this two server has a little bit more resources, like 2 CPUs, 4 gig. The third one, it is the NFS, the QDevice, QNet Quorum. So that one is called Q9. That one has less resources. It's computing resources. Or with one CPU, something like that. Yeah, one CPU, 1 gig. So for this server, I already have the Db2 installed, so I'm not going to repeat. So I'm going to use these two to demo. Okay. For example, on the first one, this is already installed, and so we don't have to install. So I'm going to start the install from server 2 and the Quorum server. So in this way, we can speed up this process. Okay. So let's get started. So I'm going to cd to our location. It is here. So it is in this location. That is the image. Typically, we run the Db2 pre-check. So I'm going to skip this. I'm just go to the Db2 install. So with flag -y accept license, -d, this is the location, db2 IBM, I'm using the default location, db2 v12.1, this is default location. Here is the product. I'm going to specify this is the server. -f, no pacemaker. That means we are not installed the pure skill. So they just this one is just installed the binaries. Okay, DB2 binaries. Let me see. Let me Control C something incorrect. Okay, so let me see. No PCMK. Let me remove this and see what's going on. Okay, let me do this. Maybe I mistyped something. Okay, seems it's taking. Let me see what. Maybe it's just a typo, so it does. To install it doesn't like it. And I will let this. Yeah, it started the db2 binary install. So at the same time, I'm going to move on to this Quorum server. So for the Quorum server, if you see the instruction from IBM, so we only need to install like 2 RPMs, okay, theoretically. So let's see. In this one, this is the software location, server DEC. So if we go to the DB2 location, go to the Linux, that is the architectures, go to the PCMK, the location. Here is basically the binaries, the script to install PCMK. Okay, but if you don't want to install the whole package, we can just simply install this. Let's go this way. So I'm going to cd to RHL because this RHEL. Then you can cd to Linux RHEL and see this platform. So we're going to cd to X 8664. Okay, so this is all the RPMs. So for the pacemaker, so we're going to just let's see QNet. Okay, so basically there's two packages called QNet D. So we can just install these two instead of install all of them. So sometimes for life easy, you can just install the whole thing. Okay, so in this case, let's just install this one. So we're gonna use DNF install and. 4 sync. 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 4 syn Let's see. I don't know what's hung. So this service. Let's just give it a little bit time. Maybe my service not have enough resources. Okay, so QNAD, Coral, let me Coral Sync. So in this way, this is probably the when I use hit double the tab, so it just don't have enough resources. Okay. Let me just copy these two lines. Or sync this two. Copy. So df install CoreSync QNet. So this is going to install these two packages. Okay. So it take much less time, just install the two packages. For some reason, they said the CoreSync is already installed. Oh, I see the problem. Yeah, the problem is it's installed previously when I installed the Pacemaker. So let's just remove this first. Okay, so if we remove these two and just reinstall. Okay. Okay. RPM. Let me see QNet. Oh, well, there's another one. Yeah, let's remove this as well. So I'm gonna also remove this one. So this is the two previous installed. So I'm gonna remove it, then reinstall. Okay. All right. So reinstall. This is just from the IBM doc. Okay. So Db2 install CoreSync. Okay. Okay. This is the two packages. So I'm gonna install. So for the CoreSync, that portion stuff. The QNAD install is very simple, so you just install two packages. As I said, if we don't want to do specifically just two, we can just install the whole Pacemaker packages, okay? All right, while this install, I'm going to, while it's waiting, so I'm going to continue, I'm going to move to part 3, because in the part 3, I already have the database installed. So I'm going to go ahead to create the instance created. So I'm going to start prepare the database. Okay. But on the R1, so it's already have the Db2 installed. If you see I do a Db2 level, so this is the Db2 start. It's already probably already start. Okay. So, but yeah, the manager is already started. Let me do a Db2 list DB directory. I don't think we have database yet. Directory and empty. So I'm going to use IBM provided this sample. So just create a sample database, or you can use create a database that command. So either way, whatever database name we want. So in this case, we just create a sample database with some tables shipped with IBM. Okay. All right. So let me just it's take like a few minutes to create this database. I'm gonna pause in a few minutes. All right, the database still in creation. So the Db2 binary was installed successful. Now we're going to install the pacemaker on this node. Okay, so the pacemaker install is very simple. So basically, we're going to just go to like cd to db2 to the Linux platform and cd to pcmk. You can initiate from the leading root directory is fine. So for simplicity, we're gonna just run the db2 install pacemaker. Okay. So if we just run this, we're not doing anything. So we're gonna use -i. It means install. Okay, either install or update. So it's just installed. It is still in the part one of this document. So the part one, we're gonna compile install db2 and pacemaker on node 1 and node 2. Node 1 I already pre-installed, so which I just use node 2 for demo. So the first one is installed install the db2 binary. The second one, this one is going to install the pacemaker. Okay. All right. So let's see db2. Where is? I think I know where it is. PD2 db2 capital V 12. It is right. Some yeah. So this is the default location. Okay. So and we also installed the QNetD on the Quorum server. So part one is done. So now we're gonna go to part two. Okay, but part two also I'm going just using the S9 server to demo. Okay, so for this one, so we need to add a user called db2ins1. This is OS user. It says it's already exists. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is harbor the old one. So let me just use user add. So this one doesn't complain. I said user, it's already exist. All right, so let me remove it. Okay, let me user del db2ins1. So we recreate. Okay, all right, so let's recreate add user. Add user is already added, so that is why. User del -r. Let me remove the home directory. So in this way, retry. Add user or user add. Okay, it's created. Say ID db2ins1. Yeah, so user is created. And then we run this command to create the db2 instance. Okay, so I still pick up the classic port 50,000 for the TCP/IP for the db2. It says db2 instance RCRT. RICRT. Okay. CRT. Okay. So I'm going to use this to create the instance. Okay. So All right, so now I go back to the this one. Let's continue our work. The instant creation on. So now then I'm go back to the R1. The database create is finished. So Db2 listed DB directory. You can see it. So the sample database is created. Okay. Let's see, sample database. Okay. So if we do a Db2 get dbcfg for sample, you can see, so this database currently, it is arc. So currently you see that this parameter is off. That means the database is using circular logging. So for header to work, we have to use archive logging. Okay, so we need change this. We need to change this database from circular logging to archive logging. Okay, so I can just use this one using. For this one, you need to give a location. This very similar to the SQL Server. Okay, so we're going to use, so this is going to go to disk. So the location, in my case, I want to use the shared location. Okay, so you can use local. I just, for demo purpose, I use shared location. I created last time. It's in the shared and the Db2. Let's see. I'm going to go to this location. I believe they're gonna fail because the directory is not created yet. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, it says this directory doesn't exist. So I'm going to create this directory as the instance owner. Okay, it's created. Let's do it again. All right, so that means the database is in the archive logging. Okay. Okay, so anyway, it is called clear. Okay, all right. So at this point, if we connect the database, it's gonna error dot, right? So that means we have to do a backup. So because you change the archive log mode, okay? So now it's backup pending. So we're gonna just do a simple backup. Backup db sample. I just do a /dev now. Just do a full backup. So in this, we convert this database from circular logging to archive logging. Okay, so once it's done, so we can connect the database. Okay, all right. So this is the one step further. So enable the archive logging, and then we have to make some adjustment to the database configuration parameters. However, as you know, that part I'm gonna skip because depends on if this is production or development, what kind of environment, you may have to make a certain adjustment. But in this demo, we just take the default. So we're not going to adjust like buffer size, log file size, etc., etc. Of course, in parallel, you definitely have to make adjustment. However, for this demo, we're going to need to change the those header related parameters. Okay, so this is the one we're gonna this list of we're gonna change. Before we make a change, let's look at what is the current parameters. Okay, sample. Let's get to see what is the current header parameters. Okay, so if you look at those header parameters, let me scroll up. You see, Some is a default, like header timeout is 120. We don't need to do that. And the near sync is also default, so we don't need that. So we can take the default. Other than that, we need to change the local, few others. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to just remove those default one, and so I'm going to change it to 6. Okay, so I'm going to change these 6 parameters. Okay, so and also the header peer window also do some research on the internet. You will find the different environment probably different. Some recommended to set to 240 or 360 or 300, but regardless, these parameters needed to adjust. So. And for the local service and the remote service, I use the same port. You can use different port, but I think use same port is relatively simple. And other is really straightforward. Local host, remote host, remote instance. Okay, so let's copy this 6. Let me insert. Okay, so I'm gonna all right. So this 6 changed. For these two, that is also needed to change. Before we change, let's take a look at what is the current value. Okay, and the reason I'm doing that, it is to serve a purpose to learn. Okay, Db2 CFG for example. Let's see one. It is called the. Let's just index. Okay, index. All right. So by default, that system index it's already is a restart. So we just need to change this one to be on. Okay, log index rebuild equals on. By default, is off. Okay. All right. So that prep work is done on the node 1. So now we're going to do a backup, and then to a shared location, and then we're going to restore from the another node. Okay, so you don't have to do use the shared location. You can back on in the local and then SCP this from node 1 to node 2 either way. Okay, but for ease to transfer file, shared location is going to be helpful. Okay. All right. So let's do the backup. So what I'm going to do is going to do backup db2 backup db sample. So I'm going to just do a offline backup to shared db2. Let's pick up a location. I'm going to put this location. This time I'm not going to use compress. Okay. So this backup going to fail because the directory is not there. So we have to create that directory before. Yeah. So I'm going to make dir for this directory. Okay. All right. So I will let backup running. Let's go to the S9. So let's look at the shared location. So this is the arc directory. That is the backup directory. So on this side, you can see the backup is landed there. Then we're gonna restore this backup on this. So, all right. So let's see. So now let's move part 4. Now we're going to establish header for this database, okay? So first we're going to restore this database. It's very simple. This basic Db2 restore DB sample. If you're inside that folder, you don't have to specify. So because I'm not in that folder, I'm just going to restore from, okay? So you're going to read that I needed to sudo to the instance owner, db2 inst1. Let's see the db2 start. It should already started. And then I'm gonna just run this restore, okay? Oh, it's not restore. Okay, so it's started. So now we're gonna run this, okay? So we're gonna run, let's just cd to this location. So in this way, we just a db2 restore db sample. So we don't have to just specify from this keyword. So after restore, this database cannot connectable because it is in the forward pending. Okay, so but we can still take a look at the So let's move on. So then we need to change those header related parameters. And so in this case, probably we just need to change 2 because when the database is restored, it is carried from the R1, that is, let's see, called the primary server, and the S9 R9 and S9, let's call it a standby server. Okay, so the restore, I think the machine is slow and should be theoretically should be very quick, like few minutes, a few seconds, you know, for this tiny small size data bytes. All right, restore successful. As we said, we cannot connect because it's the standby. You see it's forward pending. So let's do a db2 get dbcfg for sample. Well, let's review the header parameters and grab HADR. So you see, the current header row, it is standard. So the local, it's R9. So we need to change this one. Other than that, other things we actually don't need to change because it's already carried over from the another server. Okay. Similar thing if we use another tool, you can see it. You know. So all right. So we're gonna just do db2 update dbcfg sample using. So we're gonna switch this because right now on this server the local host is going to be S9, right? Then the remote host is going to be R9. So they just reverse this this order. Okay, so that is all we need to do. So now this the database is ready to start as the standby. Okay, so we're gonna do a db2 start HADR for db. The db sample as standby. Okay, so now we're gonna start this database as a standby database. It's successful. Now we're going to on the R1, so R9. Sometimes I always say R1, R9. We're gonna do the same thing. start the database as a primary, okay? So we're gonna start as primary. If successful, then we can do a header check, okay? So restore, update, start as primary header. So let's do a header check, okay? So header check is going to be db2 pd minus d, this is the database name, minus HADR. So you can see it. So we're gonna take a quick look. So from this, we can see it. The row is primary, and the sync mode is near sync. That is what we want. And also we see the header status is peer. That is great. And the header flag, it is TCP protocol. That is also great. So, and also if you go through, it is connected. That means the header was in sync. Okay. And also there's some other information, the position of this log file and the log gap is 0. All right, so at this moment, we completed a few steps like part 1, 2, 3. So the header is ready. So in part 5 and 6, we're going to create the PCM Pacemaker cluster. Let the cluster to manage header. Why? Because, for example, if some problem with one server, have some crash, then the database is going to automatically fail over to another one with the cluster. Okay, without has to the people has get involved because you have to manually do failover. Okay, all right, so that is. I guess I just stop here. It's already 40 some minutes, close to 40 minutes. So I will continue next for next video. Okay, continue this